Yeah, maybe.
If one person per monitor.
I have been in a conference at the OU that was a bit like that, but I found that a bit weird.
I think my starting point is always I think what's the simplest you can manage to enhance the potential of people to engage with each other. And I worry a lot of the sort of technological stuff, it's almost like it's technology for technology's sake. So I think it's taking it back to, so what are we trying to achieve? And for me, thinking about the last few days, what's been so lovely has been, I guess, just hanging out, having time, being quite relaxed, quite informal. But I think I think what's special is also you don't do it that often. I wouldn't want to be doing this every week, so it's a treat. And actually, I like treats, and I'd like to do it periodically, but I wouldn't want to be working like this all the time, sort of thing. So I guess, and then this idea of all wanting to share all these resources and have this online, I just don't have time realistically. So what I'd much rather is Tom says, there's this amazing thing, and I'll email it to you. And that's kind of enough for me. I don't want to have a huge repository. I just like I like the personal touch, and I like a friend who I respect to share something, and I'll read it, and it'll mean a lot to me, but I haven't got the capacity for much more.
Like in terms of building your own tools for minds, extending yourself.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's a bummer. I do not want to get emails for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much better if I can post such a link somewhere and maybe write a few lines and make it searchable and put it in context through tags and these kinds of things, and also put it into a shared environment. It's not in my inbox. And in half a year's time, I would try to do a topic related search, and maybe or probably I can't find it, and then I look for mails from Paul.
There's something an app which I avail is called Pocket.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Pocket, you can put it to your browser, and if you see something which is good, you just click on it and you put it in your pocket. If you see something on your mobile phone, you put it in your pocket. It's great. It's great. Well, I don't know if it's great, but at least it was something which was helping me. Just to tag everything which I would like to store. Storing today means I don't want to forget it. And I like to forget things, but I would like to store them.
Yes, store them and then forget them.
I don't know. I kind of think, when I think about the last few days, I think that we're in a position of huge privilege. I do. I feel that privilege and think it's been so stimulating, and it is what happens outside of the conference as much as what happens inside the conference, and it's as much the conversations and here's a new idea that I've not heard before, that there's a whole load of good resource that could enhance or challenge the approaches that we're taking, and so I get excited about that. And then I think, but how many people really can come away for 4 days, a beautiful location, and have that space? So I guess that for me, the sharing it in an online space is more about saying, if you did have the problem that with most online repositories is that the search, things aren't tagged well, they're not contextualized, they're not. So actually there's a whole load of issues with the interface, so you don't want to use it because it becomes, you kind of drown in too much stuff. But at the same time, I kind of think surely if you have, those things are all surmountable, aren't they? They're not, they're just, you can have intelligent tagging systems, and you can, you can make it more personal, and and so then there's a place so that I can go, I came to this place, I had this great time, we talked about this really interesting idea, I can go here, I can search relatively easily, and I can find it, and then I can send that link to someone else and say, you must, and then maybe that makes a connection, and somebody comes in and meets you, and I don't have to be involved in making all that happen, because it's just a kind of an introduction to somebody into a group of people who are nerdy about engagement like I am. Do you know? And I quite like that. I quite like that idea of making it more accessible to a wider group of people. So we'll go back and we will talk to our networks about what we learnt here. We'll share, but we only share what we remember. It's like you say, you only remember a certain amount.
You can even put it further. Is emailing and text and video really the right way to remember people? I mean, we as technicians who like technology, we have a cockpit. And is there maybe a cockpit approach for it, where you can see, the majority of documents which have been downloaded, red tagged, whatever, ranked, is now at this site, and I should go there if I have the interest. At least you're managing a community, so different people interacting with elements of items, or even interacting in between together, so they're creating something. But the wider and bigger it goes, the more difficult it is to visualize what's going in the community. And at the end you're lost. Then you have no interest. Then you're losing it. And you're doing it again with an email.
I don't know. I mean, I think I do think that there is a time issue. I do. I think a lot of people. We do lots of events saying how can we help people in the UK learn from one another about what works in certain contexts around engagement practice, where they can go and be stimulated by other people's work. And everyone says we must have a repository. We must have a repository of knowledge. So the repository is always the obvious answer. And then people have tried to create repositories and people haven't used them. And I kind of think that just actually doing a little bit more research with the kinds of people you're trying to attract to such a space, to genuinely understand, are they like, are they like Paul? Are they like us? Are they like?
How do they currently do
broadly,
it?
But and actually, what are the enabling mechanisms to make something like that useful, so that actually people do come, and when they contribute something, they bother to tag it properly, so that it's not just a big dumping ground for anything that might be vaguely relevant to the topic, and then you just come to it and go, well, you want to find the really good stuff really quickly.
Also, language is interesting.
Yes.
Because you're creating a new space, an engaged space in the virtual realm, and you do not need to send information out to someone from there, because you invite them in.
Yeah, of course.
And they participate. But the thing is, how can you make participation engaging?
Yes.
And how do you do that in an online format or in a virtual setting?
I think that's where the research idea comes in, actually talking to people about how they currently live their lives in terms of how they like to connect, and just to understand.
Well, we
a bit
have
better
things like now.
I'm just thinking about time.
What time is it?
And we need to get to the station.
So when is your train taking off?
It takes off at, is it 10 past or quarter past?
Sometime around then.
Yeah.
We thought we needed to get there around 3 just because we didn't know about getting tickets and stuff. But it's not at 3.
I think it's 3:15,
3:15,
something like that.
Okay, yeah.
But that's actually been the best connection?
Well, there's
Yes,
one at
it is.
3:35 that then takes another kind of hour, and then the one after that gets us out after the plane has landed.
Okay.
Well,
So it's the best. It's great.
How many changes of train do you have?
One.
Just one at Munich
Okay,
East.
then
yeah.
it's the
Yeah, it's
best.
great.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one you had to change twice, but it's
Yeah.
like you only got an extra 10 minutes here, and you.
So how do we get there?
We'll
Just walk from here.
we'll walk you there.
Yeah.
It's not far, but maybe we should.
Let's pay.
Let's pay again.
Yeah, I might go to the loo as well.
Ist es das Laufen lassen oder?
Are you filming me saying I need to go to the toilet?
Yeah.
Can you edit that
I
out?
can repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Yeah.
Hast du
To your heart's content. If it makes you glad.
Because we were
You
actually.
miss me that much.
I put in as your new profile video. Yeah.
Excuse me while I